So I guess we're not going to do any pre-show chatter today?
We got some pre-show, you never know.
No, well, Mike looks like he's dead to the world.
Nah. Mike looks like he's...
Well, it kind of fits. How's the horror contest going?
I made it to, I'm guessing this is the final round. I don't know. I never made it this far before. So it's the top 5 who make it. And I'm currently sitting in second. So I guess I'm still alive somehow.
That's it.
Well, you look like you're on death's doorstep. So, yeah. So I guess this is a good contest for you.
Looks like.
All right. So... welcome everyone to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me once again is King Hamster Pellet himself, Mike Schiavo.
Blood shaking, people.
And the incomparable family man, James Haynes.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
All right. So we're continuing on with our spooky season. We didn't have any wrestling events, so we get to skip that this week. Huh? Oh no, so we do have one thing, though.
Yes.
Because the McMahon documentary did come out on Netflix.
A good birthday gift in a way.
And good birthday gift for who? Because I don't think it was too good for McMahon.
Nope.
No, it still isn't good for McMahon.
All right.
His ass got
But
buried.
I did watch it. I watched all 6 episodes.
I did too.
And it basically tells when his father had the company to... all the way now, and in between the 6 episodes, you're going to find what happened with, let's see, how him and his relationship with Hulk Hogan, and how it went from good to bad to good again. It also will show you all, not 1, not 2, but at least 3 screw jobs he did, which nobody realized he did 3 screw jobs. It talks about Owen Hart's death, which everybody thought that the Hart family sued, which they did, WWE, Kemper Arena, and the company that made the bungee cord, Alcantara. They settled with McMahon. McMahon then sued the bungee company because they seen it was a screwed up thing and everything, and why he made Owen do that was the stupidest thing possible.
No, he was trying to spoof Sting.
Oh, yeah, but the thing was that he did something stupid.
Well, remember, Shawn Michaels had come down on the zip line.
On the zip line, which is smarter. And you're attached to the cord and everything.
Yeah.
They tested it out.
Listen, they tested stuff out, but when you have defective equipment, you have defective equipment.
And he also, he talks about the Attitude Era, the eras of Rock and Stone Cold, how they helped keep Undertaker, keep the company alive. Talks about Shane and Stephanie holding the business. And then it ends with, as the finish of his finish, and not for nothing, it was the first time I actually seen him with that befuggly mustache. Yes, that is one befuggly mustache.
The bad dye job was terrible.
You sound like you're in a well, Danny.
Are you sure about that?
You sound like you're in a well.
The thing is, I'm using a different mic this time, so mine is actually more directional, because unfortunately we keep picking up the audio from, you're hearing me, Jimmy's mic is picking me up, so I'm being picked up in 3 directions at this point.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like I might sound a little off, but we're just testing out because I got the dynamic mic, so hopefully that
all in all, I would recommend this documentary to all wrestling fans and everything. So
I would recommend it to even non-wrestling fans. The one thing that I did notice that they kind of skipped was hitting any of the controversy over the WWF name with the World Wildlife Fund.
Oh no, they touched on it.
But it was so minor.
It's so
even
minor.
Though that was a major thing.
Yeah.
Because of the branding.
You looked at it. They didn't even touch the point that they moved from. They'd been on USA for so many years. Then they left for a while and went to TNN or whatever else they were calling themselves.
They hit a whole bunch.
They were all over the place.
Spike TV. Then they went back to USA.
Yeah.
And everything where they've stayed until...
No, they pretty much went all over the place they didn't even hit how many times SmackDown changed networks.
To Channel 5, Channel 11, Channel 9.
And then back to 5.
Back to 5.
And even on USA.
Now it's
USA.
on... Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's an interesting documentary, but it's one of those things where he definitely is not painted in the best light.
Nope.
And with the court cases he's got coming up, he might be spending some time in prison with the diddler.
Yeah.
Never know.
In all honesty, Hollywood's been ransacked with all of the Diddy stuff. You can't escape it. He's been so intertwined with so many other people's careers that we're pretty much in like this giant controversy. So we have no clue just exactly where this is going to fall.
If he's going to be with the diddler, he'll be fine because when he does after he's done with the weights, he's going to need that baby oil. And Diddy's got how much baby oil that he got from Costco?
Yeah.
That they don't sell at Costco.
Yeah. You know what though? I do want to touch on something. You know, the Longshoremen Strike.
Excuse me.
Like on day one of people finding out that the strike took place.
People went nuts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They went for toilet paper
Did
again.
nobody learn anything from COVID? Because it was like they told you to stock up on stuff that is imported.
Yeah.
So I don't think they understand what imported goods are.
Nope. Yeah, they import it to the store.
Yeah.
Really?
Toilet paper is made in the U.S.,
Yeah.
gets shipped on either trucks or trains.
Mm-hmm.
It is not shipped in through the ports.
Guinness is imported.
Yeah, you want your imported liquor
Absolute
and
is
stuff.
imported.
That's the stuff that they should have been, but I guess they decided we're going to stock up on toilet paper again.
And water.
This is the reason why, and I just have to say, like, I don't know about you guys, but during the pandemic, I did not panic about, like, buying all this stuff.
No.
I tried to
Great.
shop, like, okay, let me just get the essentials.
I shop normally.
Yeah. I still had stuff. I've never seen a group of people who've never seemed to even have, like, any soap in their house.
Mm-hmm.
No laundry detergent, no Pine Sol, no bleach. I'm like, you don't have basic cleaning supplies.
You don't have Fabuloso?
Yeah, well, that's actually now discontinued.
Is it?
I think they got rid of Fabuloso.
No, I seen it in BJ's.
For now.
Yeah.
But once the supplies are done, I think they're done.
Oh, crap.
Unless they're rebranding or something. But yeah, that's supposed to be
The
done.
kid today in 7-Eleven, he goes, I didn't have no Fabuloso. I used Pine Sol.
Yeah.
Hey, it still smell good.
Listen, it does the job, but it's still, it's one of those things. It's, just a little message out there for everyone. Common sense is there is no need to panic shop. You do not need to go out there and just start buying stuff for the sake of buying things when you hear there's a strike.
Yep.
The strikes are actually valuable because you figure this strike only lasted 2 days. So 2 days and probably cost them about $10 billion because they estimated it would be about $5 billion a day that these guys were on strike. This shows like we need more unions in this country and get them back for strength because in all honesty, I would love it if we would actually go to the proposed 4-day work week. We don't lose any money and instead of working 5 days, we work 4. In other countries, they prioritize taking time off. We don't prioritize any time off. I'm glad like we take a little hiatus for the show, gives us all a little breather, lets us recharge, but most of the time nobody wants to recharge. They get upset with you when you take your vacation time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, it's not my fault that I'm entitled to vacation. It's part of my package.
Yeah.
So it's like my time off, my days off. You get sick and they're upset with you for not coming in. It's like, you know what? I'll come in. Let's get the entire office sick. You know what? I'm going to make sure I lick every chair, every doorknob, just so that this way...
I sneeze in my hand and rub it on the chair.
This way no one gets to go and stay here. Everybody gets to get sick and go home. That should probably knock out, like, I think, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just... Let's just have some common sense about everything and realize there's no need to panic for a strike. Just be rational human beings. Now, that being said... Mike, have you done any Halloween shopping lately?
Like candy-wise or decoration-wise?
Either or.
No, because if I buy candy now, it's not going to make it to Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you now because I got a bit of a sweet tooth, and if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it. We have some decorations at home. We have Halloween flags and everything and stuff we put on the doors. We don't go too nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, I mean, we had, I had like this Snoopy blow up for Christmas, but that finally deflated. But, we don't really Finally, we had it up for a while. But it doesn't.
You refused to take it down after Christmas?
No, I took it down after Christmas, but I had it for a while.
Oh, okay.
I had it for like 3 or 4 years, and finally the motor died. But don't really go too crazy for Halloween. I put some stuff up on the windows and on the door, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out where Spirit Halloween is, because there's not too many of them popping up.
There's one that popped up inside the mall.
Yeah, inside the mall.
Oh,
Yeah.
so see,
Where that place that had all the crazy jerseys and everything.
Oh,
they
yeah.
put it in there.
that was kind of a small location, though.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
the biggest location, but
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, you figure they took it. I know that they took over, like, that's the, what was it, the pharmacy?
Five Below, they took over. They took over Dwayne
They
Reed.
took over Five Below?
Yeah, on Highland Boulevard.
See, I don't travel down that far. That's what, like, I don't have a real reason to go down there. But, trying to find some good stuff for Halloween, decorations-wise, costume-wise, sometimes it gets a little tricky because you're trying to find something decent, but at a decent price.
Hobby
think I'm
Lobby
on-
is now gone to 60% on all their Halloween stuff already. And they're already 40%
Which
for
one?
Christmas.
Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Sorry, I won't shop there.
Speaking of costumes, I think I just might go to my good old fallback of Ash this year, because I'm hitting Comic-Con, trying to figure out what to do. Might just go as Ash, because he's simple enough.
All right. Jimmy, you got a Halloween costume or go to, or?
No, the one thing I'll do is no costumes and everything. We try to stay away from having the kids over and everything, because we'll get all the teenagers coming over like, trick or treat. I'm like, go away. Let the kid, this is for the kids, go away.
Yeah. No, listen, you know what?
Right.
If teenagers are going to come over asking for candy, listen, the least you could do is give them candy. They could be doing a lot worse.
Yeah, they could.
Then the one thing I'll do
Because at least then they're not egging your house.
Yeah.
I know. The next thing I'll do is I enjoy, I have like a set schedule for Halloween. What I'll watch, like Hubie Halloween with Adam Sandler, which is cute. Maybe a couple of the Halloween movies, not the Rob Zombie. No, the Rob Zombie first one wasn't bad. But the second one, no, not the second one. No.
No.
But the first one, the first maybe hour was decent. After that, it just went too lame. But, I mean, then I'll watch the Universals horror,
Yeah.
which are classic.
Okay. I mean, I don't really do the costumes and everything. I usually, like the day after Halloween, I'm at Spirit Halloween buying any props and stuff that might be necessary, or some costumes for down the line. But I also like to try to get the candy the day after Halloween.
Oh, yes.
When it's
Oh,
highly
50 and
discounted.
75% off.
Yeah, give me that discounted candy. Because if I'm going to go and get it, I don't want to spend a small fortune.
No,
So, it's Halloween on a budget.
that's it.
So, but yeah, no, it's usually a nice quiet time, like just enjoying the horror movies and stuff. So I usually just start rotating through like a random assortment, whatever I feel like I'm in the mood for. But one that usually makes its rotation in is the Sleepaway Camp movies.
Ah, yes.
Any one of them, I can watch any one at any given time and I enjoy it. One's more of like you got to be in the mood for, but 2 and 3 are definitely ones you can just pop right in and go.
I didn't realize yesterday I was just slumming through the channels. I almost forgot that Jack Palance was a Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jack
I almost
Palance,
forgot
Christopher
he was
Plummer,
Dracula.
Christopher Lee,
Yeah.
I mean, Franklin Jello. I mean, I knew about
Franklin Jello.
Bela Lugosi,
Franklin Jello.
Franklin Jello, Christopher Lee,
Yeah.
Christopher Plummer.
And we've lost so many celebrities now, especially
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, but we lost Maggie Smith recently.
Maggie
Maggie
Smith.
Smith. Dame Maggie Smith.
Which is weird, because, not Maggie Smith, recently they're saying that John Amos passed away from...
Yes.
But he passed away in August.
That's what
Yeah.
they're also saying. Yeah.
But you know what it is? It seems like they're playing catch up with it, because now you figure they're serving McDowell's in the afterlife because, well, now the king is there with him.
Yep.
So we're losing a lot of like great actors and actresses. And
The voice of Oogie
Pete
Boogie
Rose.
died.
Yeah.
Who?
The voice of Oogie Boogie, Ken Page.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ken Page.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are going at this point, and
Who was it that died before Pete Rose that day? There was somebody that died that morning, and it's like the Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah, it's
Farrah Fawcett died, and
then Michael Jackson died. We'll forget about Farrah Fawcett.
yeah,
exactly.
And that's the thing. It's one of those situations where it's like there's so many happening so quickly that it's like, what are we really being able to pay attention to? Can we pay homage to our fallen celebrities? Or are we going to find out how many of them were terrible people because they went to a Diddy party?
And Chris Christopherson passed away.
Chris Christopherson.
Everybody
was that the one that died the same day as
no,
Pete?
he died even after, in between Pete Rose and John Amos, in a way.
So that's the thing. There's
So
just,
there goes the rule of 3. That's 4 or 5
No,
right there.
we had 5.
no. What was it? We had that year, like early mid 20. What was it? After the 2010s, we had that time frame where it just went, and we had the summer of celebrity deaths.
Everybody
where
was dropping dead.
It was like I think we lost like the in memoriam section at the award shows. Pretty much took up most of the award shows.
And they're like, you can go to this website to finish
It
the
it almost feels like now's the time to go and have a seance because you can pretty much meet any celebrity you want in the afterlife.
In the afterlife.
Especially now with Maggie Smith passing away, both Dumbledores are gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Both of them.
I know the original one passed away. I didn't think the other
Michael
one did.
Gambon, and then who was the second one?
No, Michael Gambon is the second one.
Michael Gambon was the second one.
Oh shit! I see his face.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah. So both Dumbledore, Snape, McGonagall.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did Hagrid pass away?
I don't think so.
I thought I heard something that he did.
If he did,
Yes, he did. 2022, 72 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, Hagrid.
Richard Harris was
Richard Harris. Thank you.
was the first Dumbledore.
Yeah. So I mean, we've lost the cast of Harry Potter. It's like the young kids are still around.
Yeah.
But all the teachers. So and they did say that they were making that new Harry Potter series for HBO, which would be kind of interesting.
Is that the Cursed Child?
No, they're retelling each one of the books is going to be a season. So, they'll be able to get some of the stuff that they left out. J.K. Rowling doesn't have the best track record with her fan base at this point. She's not very well liked, and can understand why. She's a little too controversial.
Oh, it's Dikembe Mutombo who died in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But with the Harry Potter series, you think it would be interesting if we got the young kids who were in the movies playing now the professors?
Yes.
That would be interesting. You would make, because Harry would be, I think Harry would step into the headmaster role.
Or he could end up playing his own father.
Could do that too.
You get Daniel Radcliffe playing James Potter.
And you have Tom, maybe even playing Snape.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So we've got enough people that it could work.
It could.
So, and that's the thing. So it would be able to keep a little bit of because I saw some of the controversy being brought up again about men were just out there hating the female Ghostbusters movie. And everybody likes to bring this up every now and then. And I always like to reinforce, it's like, it was bad writing.
It was. It was a rushed, bad film.
You cannot blame the comedy gold that was in there, because you had some great comedic talent in there, but you give
a bad script.
You give a bad script, and all your blame is, well, the Me Too movement kicked in, so all men were hating on the women. It was, they are funny women. It was
that movie should have worked.
Script.
When you had that, when you saw the list of who's in that movie, Melissa McCarthy, funny. I'm blanking out the other one's names, but each one of those women, they're
Kate McKinnon,
funny.
Leslie Jones,
funny.
And
the other one.
I know that's the problem. Hit the funniest ones, and then
her.
Kate McKinnon. There was Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
There you go. Each one of those women are hysterical.
Yeah.
You put them together, this is going to be perfect. This is going to be a great Ghostbusters film. It was bad writing, and it comes back to you take a movie, you take a franchise that had such a strong fan base. The two movies, the cartoons, and then you say, okay, that doesn't exist anymore, you're going to get backlash.
Yeah, I get it. You want to try doing something that's an alternate universe.
Fine, but you know what? Put them in.
But you still have to pay respect properly.
What they should have done, if you remember in the first Ghostbusters film, when the three of them were walking down, franchise.
Yeah.
Say, we bought the franchise.
That was
that would have solved everything right there.
That was what I said from the get-go.
Yeah.
Especially because the game came out, and the game was, by the end of the game,
you have your own franchise.
It's like, hey, we want to send you off to start a franchise. They mentioned like maybe Chicago. They gave options. This one just did that.
Yeah, you erased it and you say, okay, this is us now. No.
It didn't need to be in New York. Move it to another city.
Yeah.
Even if you wanted it, even if they would have started it in, want to do a whole new thing, fine, but don't do it.
Don't do it in New York. Do it some Philly, Chicago, Florida, LA, anywhere but New York.
You got plenty of different options. So the controversy needs to stop.
Right.
People want to bring this up because it's not the women. It's not men hating women.
And it
was
wasn't
just a bad
Reitman
script.
movie either. It wasn't a Reitman movie. It was Paul Feig that did this, and he did not follow any kind of script.
Not only that, but it was out of sync. Things didn't make sense.
Nope.
And I saw the theatrical cut, and then Mike bought the DVD for the extended edition, and the extended edition has the whole musical sequence
which
in there.
Didn't need.
Which wasn't in the theatrical cut until the credits. So it was like, but it made no sense not being in there, but then having it there made no sense either.
Exactly.
So it's one of those situations where we're really sitting there and we're looking at everything through the lens of, okay, does this work?
And unfortunately, it didn't.
It didn't. Now, speaking of things that work or don't work, we pushed back because I wanted to wait until we had several episodes of Agatha All Along because I wanted to talk about this. The first episode started off strong, but it was one of those situations where Marvel's got one of those weird track records.
Yeah.
Where they could start off strong, but then it starts to kind of pull back. So that's why I wanted to give it. So they're 4 episodes in, and this is the perfect time to talk about it. So now I'm a huge fan of the character Agatha from what they did with WandaVision. I love the way that they started it off, where they still kept it in the WandaVision scope of it being like a TV show. Like when you saw there were tons and tons of little Easter eggs and things that were in the background and stuff. Like you even saw it was produced by WandaVision, but they spelled vision with a Y, V-Y. So I was like, okay, they're at least making an effort. They did the detective stuff. They have her actually pull out of the different characters.
And that, in the beginning of that was what I got a little confused on. I'm like, okay, if she's still under the spell, like she should have been, okay. When we left, saw Agatha, Wanda left her in that spell. The whole thing with the cop, she's a cop now, okay, but I didn't think we needed that.
Well, I think it worked out because you figure she was already entrenched in like different TV like styles throughout WandaVision. So doing a detective drama and having her now coming out of it through discovering, because the spell is breaking, because Wanda's supposed to be dead. Even though now we know Wanda's going to supposedly pop back up for the White Vision series. So it's one of those things where it worked, but at the same time, people were probably going to be confused.
Well, I want to know if we're going to go back and figure out who the dead body was in the first episode.
It's supposed to be Wanda.
Is it?
It's supposed to be Wanda.
Okay.
So that's the thing. This is now, it's the spell breaking.
Yeah.
And it's her, like, she had to rip out of it. I like what they did because while she was still under the spell...
She went through each phase, like each TV phase.
Not even just that. Like, when she went and it's like she finds the kid.
Which I have a feeling is either going to be A, Mephisto, or B, her son.
No, it's Wiccan. They've already spoiled it with the toys. That's one of the things. When you see some of the toys, they've already released saying that it's Wiccan. So it's Wiccan, but it's who put the spell on him. Did he do it to himself? It's one of those situations where it's like, who put the curse on him that no witch can know who he is.
Right.
But when he breaks into her house and you see like her son's bedroom, and it says Nicholas Scratch, another word for like the devil, like Nick Scratch. It's like they put in like those nice little twists in there, so you had certain things like if you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, you might go back just to see some of the stuff. And her coming through each one of the episodes in reverse, going back to being in black and white, coming out of the spell, it worked. And her with Aubrey Plaza is just great. Aubrey Plaza she plays that part, and she's only in the first episode for such a brief moment.
But I feel like she's been in it the entire time.
Is big.
You feel it, and then when she makes her return later on, by episode 4, you know. But it's like by episode 2, you're really feeling like they're moving forward. I love the fact that the song is available like to listen to like on Spotify, because The Witch's Road, that was like such a great song. And like her finding all those other witches to join the coven, but the fact that she pulls in Deborah
Okay, let's go now.
Although I do like the fact that they did bring back some of the neighbors that were there.
Yes.
So, and it was great to see Emma Caulfield back to just even for like that little bit where she's Agatha's walking around naked because now she's out of the spell, but she has no clothes on.
Right.
It was like they did a great job where it was like they kept her hair covering everything, so they left it to the imagination, but they still kept it
implied nudity.
Yeah, and they did a great job where it's like they didn't cross a line. They kept it where anybody could still watch, but they weren't pushing.
Right.
And that's the thing, they're finding that nice little balance. So like the first 2 episodes, they came out of the gate strong.
Yeah, came out swinging.
But it was like, could they fumble? Could they fumble at any point? Yes.
Any show could fumble at any. You can say that about any show.
Yeah, but right now, by episode 3 and 4, they're holding strong. I know some people have had their critiques, but because they didn't realize how much gay stuff is in there. It's the sexuality is always very fluid with these things. We already know Wiccan's supposed to be gay.
He even said he had a boyfriend.
Oh, they didn't. He didn't even have to say.
He didn't say. He knew.
His phone said boyfriend calling, so it was blatantly out there.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? Who cares?
The only thing is, if they're going to do it, I don't want it to be just for the sake. I want it to be part of the story. Have some reason.
I don't know Wiccan from the comics. Is he gay in the comics? Or did they just do it for the...
He is gay in the comics.
Fine, and you know what? Ain't got a problem with that then.
No.
If they just switch it up just to appease...
In the comics, he's with Hulkling.
I was ready to say, he's with Amadeus Cho.
Oh, he switched? Because I thought he was with Hulkling for...
Oh, no, that's right. Hulkling is something... Wait, I thought that is Hulkling Amadeus.
No, different Hulkling, like the outer space son of Hulk. Not Scar, but the other one.
Yes.
That's like...
Because they had the
king of the universe?
Wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had the wedding.
Yeah, so he's involved with the king of the universe.
If they made him that way in the comic books and they brought it over that way, fine. Don't got a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is changing a character to appease a small percent of people.
You're going to need to change characters anyway, because when you go and you take a look, you can update anything. And updates take place by changing sometimes even a simple thing as a character's gender or their sexuality, because now it plays to a different audience. Let's face it, no one's going to want to tell the same story over and over again. When you look, perfect example is Battlestar Galactica. The original, Starbuck, Boomer, they were guys.
I have no problem with changing it like that.
They changed them over. Not only was Boomer a Cylon, but they made Boomer a woman. They made Starbuck a woman.
Katie Sackhoff.
And Katie Sackhoff did such a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
They all did for Battlestar Galactica to the point where you didn't care. I can't picture Starbuck being anyone else other than Katie Sackhoff.
I could take the 2 of them at any time. Dirk Benedict or her.
Yeah,
no
but
problem.
for the most part...
But everybody's used to
Katie Sackhoff.
For the newer generation.
She kind of became the definitive.
Yeah.
It's the same way, like, for a lot of people, they think Heath Ledger is their definitive Joker.
Of Joker. Yeah. When we have Cesar Romero and Nicholson before that. It's like also, if I'm going to go back and you'll laugh at this. Iron Man. In the comics, he's in Vietnam.
Was he?
Yes.
Well,
because I remember that the Marvel Saga.
The problem is...
And then they updated it in the movie to the Afghani wars.
They brought up to modern times.
But then again, that's why every comic book franchise does a reboot.
Yeah,
they do their
to bring
soft
everything
launch.
up to date.
Because if you notice, Spider-Man's, for the longest time, was in high school or college. When they finally took him and aged him up a little bit more, he still had real-world problems, but it's like, they've had a time frame of like 5 years in total. So all of these things take place within a very limited time frame, and then they reboot and they retcon. So they keep doing stuff like this. So it's an inevitability to change things, but it's like when they do it not for the sake of just doing it. I need it to be part of the story, because if it makes sense, it makes sense. And, like, you see that moment in episode 4 of Agatha where it's like they're talking, like, she's feeling bad about missing her son. And it's like now Aubrey Plaza's character comes up to her and she's, like, right behind her. And it's and it's like they turn, they're about to kiss. And it's like they just stop right there. So you could feel the tension and everything. And it works for the characters. So it makes sense. So if somebody's got a problem with that, I don't know why, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
I have to say, one of the biggest standouts for Agatha All Along so far has been Patti LuPone.
Yes.
Yep. She cracks me up. It's like the shit that comes out of her mouth. It's like she comes off like a real badass in this. It's like Patti LuPone is putting on a great performance.
Patti LuPone is being Patti LuPone.
Oh, yeah. So she's really giving like a great performance. And it's only been 4 episodes.
Yes.
So I'm really interested to see where this goes.
This is what, a 6 or an 8 episode series?
I didn't even check. It's probably going to be about 6, just to like go through till like Halloween. But it's one of those things where even if it's 8 episodes, it's still going to be worth it so far.
Now, do you think it's going to be like a one-and-done series? Or they do season 2?
I can't see them doing a season 2 just
Neither do
yet.
I see them doing it to get her out.
Yeah.
To tie up the WandaVision story arc.
But her character could stick around.
But her character can pop up other places. I just think this is, telling her how she got out of, how the spell's broken on her.
Yeah.
And now it allows her to pop up in other places.
She can pop up with Doctor Strange.
Well, that's the thing. They're gonna
Vision.
They're gonna hit other things. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like tell a story, move on. It's like they're just creating a bigger universe.
Right.
So could it get a season 2? It all depends on how they end season 1. I mean, WandaVision left off where if they didn't try, like, supposedly killing her off in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we could have probably gotten more. But we don't know.
And then again, especially with comic books, is anybody truly ever dead?
Well, even, you figure Elizabeth Olsen said, she loves the character of Wanda. She would be happy to come back and do more, but she needs to have it be something that's important and good, right for the character.
Because you don't want to come back and do shit. You don't want to say, okay, I'll do it whenever, and then, take the first piece of crap that comes down the line, and all of a sudden, fuck, this character sucks now.
Yeah, but it's not, you feel like Wanda was already kind of mistreated in Multiverse of Madness.
How so?
They rushed through. She didn't get like a full-on evil villain arc. She was rushed.
She was rushed. She was never fully evil. You kind of like, okay, I can understand why she's doing this.
Yeah, but she didn't get a full arc.
No, she didn't.
It was rushed through because they were telling another story. And they just kind of used her as a placeholder.
Right.
So when you do stuff like that, it's going to be hard for somebody to say that they feel really fully connected with the character at that point because you rush through. So the arc's not fully there. But if she makes her reappearance back in the White Vision series, then, you know, there might be a way to tie up her story a little more, or even just bring her back into the fold. So, I mean, and let's face it, it's a multiverse. Even though she's supposed to be a Nexus being, we could basically go and have her where the next thing you know, congratulations, we just recast it.
Right.
Although I have to say, seeing photos of Elizabeth Olsen out, like, not in the Wanda costume and everything, she does look exactly like her sisters.
Yeah.
So, like, she looks like a healthier version.
She does.
Of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
The Olsen that actually eats.
Well, no, you know, listen, one of them's got an eating disorder. The thing is, when you look at the Olsen twins themselves, they kind of remind me, as like my brother had once said, like, they're kind of like the Gelflings from the Dark Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they look like Gelflings.
Yeah.
So, but when you see Elizabeth Olsen, it's like she looks like the actual full person rather than a Gelfling.
Right.
And I think that, you know what? The Olsen twins haven't acted in a long time.
No, they're doing like fashion or whatever.
Yeah, they were kid actors. They've stopped acting.
They haven't done anything even after the Ledger incident.
Yeah, but not even just that. You figure they didn't want to come back for Fuller House because they hadn't acted, but that came out after what Bob Saget had passed away.
Yeah.
That they went and they didn't want to go. And
Oh no,
come back.
this was on during.
No, they said at the funeral.
Oh.
They talked to them and they said, like, we didn't want to come back because we were kids. We haven't acted since we were kids, so we didn't even know if we'd be good at it or
Right.
not.
Well,
So-
which is smart on their end. Like, okay, you know what? Know your limitations. I don't want to, do something, come back in such a big role where everybody knows me, and then all of a sudden, okay, yeah, I'm not 3 years old anymore. I'm not gonna be that cute little kid that you remember.
I mean, but either one of them could have popped in, and it would have been a cameo. Because if you look at the way that Fuller House was set up, you had DJ, Stephanie, and Kimmy.
Yep.
Living together. The same premise as the early days of the original show.
Yeah.
So it could have worked, but it all depends on how they would have did it. But they made their decision.
Right, and they stuck to it, and I give them credit for
It's
it.
like also, and it just came out this week from NCIS, Paulie Perrette.
She said she's done.
She's done,
Yeah.
and she blames Mark Harmon.
Not surprising.
You want to know something? No, that's kind of disappointing because he was a little bit of Hollywood royalty related to Ozzy and Harry.
Yeah, but you know
and
what?
everything, but he screwed it up. He screwed her up.
Listen, there's going to be issues, especially on a long-running show like that. It's been around for far too long.
And now they want to make an origin show.
Yeah, they are making an origin show.
They always want to do something because they need the cash cow. I mean, think about it. They did a prequel, like, kind of spin-off show where it was an alternate timeline for Supernatural. And Supernatural did 15 seasons.
And they also just did one. They also brought back CSI Las Vegas.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, using the crime drama, there's a lot you can do with it, which is why I think it worked as the entry point for Agatha All Along.
Yeah.
So, now, like, seriously, what is, like, your overall take so far? Is this, you're going to keep watching it?
Yeah.
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 I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be, until we're done with Agatha All Along, this is going to be the show that we kind of stick with for the rest of spooky season for the show. So we'll be recapping the show until we get to the end. Once we get to November, we'll be switching over out of spooky stuff. But now, Mike, since you said you're going to go and try and pull out the Ash costume again, the movie that we did choose to see this time was Evil Dead, the 2013 remake.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't the same as the original trilogy.
It wasn't the same. When I first heard about it, I kind of went, ooh, don't do it. Because, again, you have the Evil Dead trilogy. You're like, these are such great movies. But then I was like, you know what? Let's see what happens. I saw it. There was scenes in it that copied the original.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is what Sam Raimi wanted his original film to be. He wanted it to be the horror film. He just didn't have the money to pull it off the right way.
Well, the thing is, Sam Raimi said when they brought it up to him about redoing the movie, he was all gung-ho. Him and Rob Tapert were gung-ho on it. Bruce Campbell was the one that was hesitant. And Raimi was all gung-ho because of the fact that this is a franchise that you can, like, remake.
Right.
You can update, make changes to, and it'll still work. And everybody who gets all butthurt about them remaking something, they're not getting rid of the originals.
Right.
It's not like Star Wars, where the original trilogy was turned into the special editions. So what I grew up with, and I know you guys grew up with, is no longer available.
Can't get the Yub Yub song.
Yeah, no Yub Yub song.
Unless you
It's
have
like
it in a VHS.
I do.
Or the laser
Had it.
discs.
Yeah.
But they went, and that was one of the things where it's like, what got Bruce Campbell on board was the fact that they were telling a different group. They weren't recasting
Right.
Ash.
Right, which is a good move in their part. Yes, there were similarities. Yes, when you see the demon pop up from the basement door, yes, that was just like, there were shots where they mirrored the original.
Oh, even the chain on the ground.
The chain on the
was
ground.
The same as
Yep,
the original.
the whole thing. I mean, that's what I liked. It paid homage to the original, but it told its own story.
Well, do you know, an interesting fact was that they filmed the majority of that movie in sequence.
What do you, one right after the other?
No, it was in time. Each scene was filmed right in order.
Yeah.
They didn't do shots out of order
Yeah.
because then it made it easier for any of the blood, like the gore. They didn't have to do so much cleanup
Right.
and try to refix things and worry about continuity as much.
Makes sense.
Fede Alvarez, and I think this is one of his first movies, because he did this, he did Speak No Evil, and the Alien Romulus with Ridley Scott, and having the blessing to do it. He did a really good job with this, and I think, and he put Raimi and Bruce Campbell as EPs, if you noticed that at the end.
And then you had the cameo anyway, silhouette of Bruce.
Groovy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it paid homage. It did a good job, but there are certain little elements to it that can be critiqued. There were moments that you wanted to see certain things from the original, but it wasn't going to be slapstick. They went more hard.
Right. This, like I said, this is what Raimi was going for with the original.
But Raimi's was horror.
But it wasn't... I don't think he had the money to do it the correct way.
Listen, it was a low-budget horror.
Right.
We had fun with the original. The thing was that the original also set up, was left open-ended pretty much, which is why...
We had 2 and 3.
When you get to Evil Dead 2 from the original, you can basically go and the first, few minutes is them telling a quick retelling.
Right, it's a recap.
But they also cut characters. Because you didn't have his best friend and his girlfriend and his sister. You only had Ash and Linda. That was it. So now it was okay, they were able to keep going. The good thing that I liked that they kind of kept with the story was Mia and David were brother and sister, just like they had in the original, where Ash and his sister were both there. So it was one of those things where they kept certain elements. And a fun little thing they said was that when you look at all the characters' names in this one, the first letter of each of their names spells out demon.
Does it?
Yep.
Wow.
So they did some cool stuff with this. The effects really were good.
Yes.
And they kept a lot of practical effects.
Which I think a practical effect is better than a special effect.
It's more tangible, and sometimes it gives more of a realism because it's right there. You can see it, even though you might have to sit in a makeup chair for several hours.
But it'll look better.
Yes. And if you're willing to do it, I think it's probably one of the better ways of actually going through with telling it. I mean, when they did the sequence at the beginning where they set the girl on fire, that was CG.
Yeah.
But, and they said it was apple juice that they poured on her.
Really?
I figured that.
So, it's one of those things.
I love all the little written things in the book that made me laugh. It wasn't just they put motherfucker, dude. All those.
They went all out.
They went all out on
it
it.
was the rantings of a lunatic on like someone who was trying to like break the curse on themselves after using the book.
Right.
So it worked out really well. I did like the fact that they didn't go full on with like from the original. I mean, you figure Sam Raimi did the tree rape scene and that was not there. It was more like the creature creeped up inside of her. She was held up by the trees.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as like she's on the ground. Like it didn't feel as violated.
Right.
You still got that creep.
You got the
factor.
creepy factor, but it wasn't like, oh shit.
Yeah, it was like the original. It was uncomfortable to watch.
Yes, I remember watching the original version and seeing that scene. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was creeped out. I felt like, ooh.
Yeah,
This one, it's like, oh.
like how did they get? You know, like being the pitch meeting for that one. We're gonna have a tree rape this woman. What?
Which is interesting because as I got older, it's like you figure that was made in the 80s. And then when anime started making its way to the US and more of like a thing, like a lot of the stuff that was out there was the hentai.
Yep.
So it was a lot of tentacle rape. So you were like, what the? Oh, like.
Why?
Yeah. And it's like, oh, so he did this before it really made it to the US. But I'm pretty sure it was already something from like Japanese horror. We just weren't exposed to it as much back then. So it was one of those. It's one of those movies that I was glad that we went and we revisited to look at this because out of everything, it does make a great horror movie.
It does.
Still,
Yeah.
They're making another one too.
They've done it. The third one, which was Evil Dead Rise.
No, they're making another one.
They're doing another one.
Yep. I saw part of it, like just like a bit of a teaser trailer, like behind the scenes type stuff, and I think it takes place not in another apartment building, but it takes place somewhere, and you just see a guy just like all huddled up behind, like this, and they're trying to get him. Like, are you okay? Okay. He just turns around, takes a knife or a piece of glass, whatever, goes right down the middle of his face, grabs each flap, and just rips the skin right off his face.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you figured, like, they did that. They did similar with this one for Evil Dead 2013, where it's like Mia takes the glass,
and starts cutting herself. Yep.
But she takes the box cutter, holds it up, and like licks it and splits her tongue right down the middle. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they did a lot of interesting things with this one, but they also had some like really cool homages.
Yeah.
Where instead of cutting the arm off, and it's like, and having the hand running around.
Right, yeah.
The book had the middle finger being given by the hand, but then it's like cuts her arm off at like above the elbow.
Right.
So it was like cutting right through the middle of the bicep. I was like, oh my God. That looked even more brutal than just the hand, which they still had the hand getting cut off by being trapped under the car, but her ripping her hand out. The gore factor on this does not hold back.
Ramped up to 11.
They actually were originally looking at an NC-17 rating for this.
Really?
Yeah. Oof. They edited it. They were able to get it down to an R, but I think Sam Raimi would have been fine if it was
NC-17.
They would have left it at an NC-17. You know, Sam Raimi's one of those directors where he's good with the slapstick, he's good with horror, he's very eclectic, and they were able to hone in on the horror element. Mm-hmm. I think it just missed on a little bit of having a little more of like the comedy.
The new one you're talking about?
Yeah, the new one. Because
Yes, but that's only because we're expecting it because, okay, it's the Evil Dead. And fans of the original one, okay, there was some slapstick in there.
But the character that was like the idiot who's reading from the book, you kind of wanted to see him get slapped around, like snap out of it, like if he was like having a panic attack or something, like where you at least get like a little physical with him. And he got beat up, he got shot with like the nail gun, but it wasn't like, dude, like, why are you reading from the book? Somebody slapping him around.
It even says in the front, do not read from this book.
Yeah. And it's like...
That's a sign right there. I mean,
it's like...
When the book is telling you no.
Yeah, it's like, it not only was wrapped up, it was wrapped up with barbed wire.
Yeah, that's a sign. Leave it alone.
Yeah, that's the one thing like I've always loved about horror movies.
It's how stupid people are in the beginning.
But also, it makes you feel smarter.
Yeah.
Because you sit there and you're like...
Idiot.
It says
Dumbass.
don't read. I'm not reading it. It's like the door is locked. It's like your cabin was broken into.
Leave.
That's go get the cops because someone broke into your cabin.
Perfect. Like the Amityville Horror. The fucking house is telling you to leave. You leave.
Yeah, it's why are you staying?
Yeah. Get out. Okay, gotta go.
And
I got you.
You know, there's like I think like 15 to 20 different Amity Horrorville movies. It's like Jesus. When
Amityville 2, Amityville 3D, Amityville The Curse, The Awakening.
There's like
The revamp.
The revamp. I
There's-
actually saw the last one they did. I think it might have been The Awakening
Yeah.
with Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I think that one was. I know it wasn't the one with the clock with the time travel.
There's a time travel one?
Yes.
Gosh.
The clock inside the house is like.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This one, it also had the guy who played the Joker from Gotham.
Okay.
He's actually like the whole premise was like he's basically like a vegetable have all these tubes in them to keep him alive in the house, and all this weird stuff starts happening, and then the older daughter realizes this is what happened in the DeFeo murders, because this one kind of honed in more on the murder than the actual haunting itself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at one point, you know, she's in like the same nightgown that one of the daughters was in, and she's laying in the bed just like, you know, supposedly how like it really happened. But then they realize, oh shit, if we get this guy is possessed and he's doing all this stuff, if we get him out of the house,
Yeah.
it breaks the cycle. So you see her pick him up, carry him outside, and he's like screaming and yelling. But as he gets further and further away from the house, you see him kind of like contort back like to the way he was.
Yeah.
And by the end, everything was broken. And I'm like, that's a cool take on it because it did more of the. Yes, it kept the supernatural element, but it also added the real life element of the DeFeo murders.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where it's like there's so much that they could do, but it's like I feel like they've done everything, and they've even overextended.
Yeah, they definitely overextend. Like the one with Ryan Reynolds, they added that little girl, which was never a part of it in the beginning.
Yeah, but you know what? You can add certain things to it because you know they're like it's based on a real story. It's like
Is it though?
Well, we don't know because it's like there were murders in that
Yeah,
house.
the murders were real 100%, but they even said
Yeah.
not the DeFeos, the Lutzes
Yeah.
sat down with Jay Anson, the guy who got credit for writing the book, and they were like, yeah, we had about 4 or 5 bottles of wine, and we laid out the whole book on tape.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you're just like, all
Yeah.
right, you know, but it's one of those things where it's like sometimes that's just too many sequels.
Oh, without it. That's a perfect example of a franchise staying in the party too long.
Yeah. It went way too long.
First one was fine. Didn't even... Second one, meh.
You know,
This was even mentioned. The Amityville was also mentioned, if you remember, but it was never touched in the first Conjuring.
Conjuring's one of those,
Well, the Conjuring-
franchises I had trouble getting into because I don't know where to start.
Right.
It's like
You
there's
start with the first. I know you.
Well,
never
The
started with
Conjuring,
the first one. Yeah.
It's
it makes sense that they make reference to it because those two, like the two main characters, are supposed to be the real life people who went and did like the seances at
It's like
at
Red
the house.
Dragon, where at the end you see Anthony Hopkins go, "Oh, please let her in," and you know who it is. It's Clarice.
Yeah, but it's one of those moments where it's, you know, that's a franchise that's so mixed up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, it's not just The Conjuring. Then they have other movies off on there. It's like, I think, what is it, Annabelle?
Annabelle.
And like, then there's
Isn't the Nun?
The Nun is, I think, another one in there. So it's like,
Well, they try to create their whole universe.
and what I need, if you're going to do that, I need a map of what order to watch everything. Because even with like the Saw movies, there's been 10 Saw movies, and the 10th Saw movie
Goes back to the beginning.
it's like a prequel to before the first movie.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but let us know.
Yeah, it's like, all right. you know.
Maybe not call it Saw 10.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, okay, this follows everything else. Like Saw at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know? Hacksaw, whatever.
Well, you figure because Saw 9 wasn't really Saw, it was Spiral.
Yeah.
I didn't even, honestly, I haven't watched the Saw movies.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, they're good to a certain extent, but it's more for the grotesque effect of everything. You know, listen, I love horror movies. I've been watching them long since before I was even supposed to watch them, because that was the wonderful thing about the home video rentals, because no one paid attention.
Yep.
Before Blockbuster, when it was just the mom and pop video stores, where it was like you went there, I think, what was it, maybe $2-3
Yep.
to rent something
For like 4 days.
or like even 2 days. It was like 2-3 days. Like you had it for the weekend. You watched it.
You brought it back.
Most of the time, you brought it back the next day because you watched it.
You watch it,
like,
okay, I'm done with this.
now you want to watch something else. I mean, I remember as a kid going to the store because it was only a few blocks away, but renting like tons of obscure stuff that was on VHS, where it was like I rented My Pet Monster. Wow. You know, renting the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Yes.
You know, that was where you started finding like some of the obscure stuff. You would find like the first few, like the Transformers, the first like opening 5 episodes that were started off the series. So it was like, oh, they were on video, so you're just watching it. And you're a kid, you're just gonna keep watching stuff. It's not like nowadays where it's like, oh, it's on streaming. No, I had to sit there and wait.
Yeah,
and wind
The
it.
original He-Man cartoons before they hit Channel 5.
And then you actually had to wait like almost a year after it got off the theater to show up on even pay-per-view. You had to wait 6 months and then show up in the video, so I had to wait almost a year for it.
Yeah, as opposed to nowadays where
It's still in the theater. You can get it on streaming.
Yeah, because it's not doing well in the theaters. The Crow.
Don't get started on that.
Yeah, look. I watched it because it's available for streaming, and all I wanted to do was fast forward.
Yeah.
It was not something good. I cannot recommend that. It's like I would rather go back. People may say like the special effects don't hold up in the original for some scenes, which there is a couple. No, there's a couple that it's like the hand.
The hand scene when he gets the shot in the hand. Yeah.
It's not perfect, but I'd still rather watch that than go to this thing where it just didn't work.
You'd rather watch Crow City of Angels before you watch this thing.
No, City of Angels actually wasn't that bad.
No,
yeah, that's what I mean.
But
You'd rather watch that than
no. If you're gonna say you'd rather watch, that would be Crow Wicked Prayer with Ed Furlong, which was the 4th one.
Was that the one where he gets electrocuted in the electric chair and it comes back?
No, that was Salvation.
Salvation, thank you.
That one was with
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst. Who was the guy who?
Eric Mabius.
Yes. Okay.
But Wicked Prayer was number 4.
I have that one somewhere.
Yeah, so do I. With David Boreanaz
and Tara Reid.
Eddie Furlong.
Yep.
It was too much, that one.
Yeah,
but the one thing I can say about that movie though, for Wicked Prayer, was the fact that at least the Crow element fit in because with Native American culture. So you're on Native American land, you have the culture, so having the Crow there, it kind of worked a little bit.
Right.
Because it fits in like with the kind of mythology that the people have.
Yeah.
So it's something that it's there, and it wasn't too disrespectful, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't that.
Yeah. But it was what it was. And I mean, also it had Emmanuelle Chikiridi, which she was great in that she was the love interest that got killed.
Right.
She was the one of the bartenders in The Waiting.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And she plays Lana Lang in Superman and Lois.
Okay.
She's also in Entourage.
Yeah. So who wasn't in Entourage? Still
That's true.
Nah.
I wasn't in Entourage.
You wish you were in Entourage.
Actually, I know. I went to school with Turtle. We did. We had class at CSI together.
Of course. CSI, the place where so many people meet and don't want to acknowledge. But yeah, no. So we're gonna wrap things up now. So because we had a productive episode, and I mean, this is spooky season. This is my favorite time of the year.
Yes.
And I love being able to talk about horror movies, and this gives us a little bit of a focus to be able to lock in on a theme for a little bit. And hopefully everyone out there is enjoying it. If you are enjoying it, you can email us at dragoonslayerpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslayerpodcast@gmail.com. And this way you can let us know, and you can make some recommendations on movies and things you want us to review. If there's a series out there that you think we'd like, as long as it's available on a streaming platform where we don't have to rent it, let us know. If we don't have to buy it, we'll be
It's even better.
Yeah, we're willing to check it out as long as we don't have to, like...
Shell money out.
Mostly because...
we don't have any.
You know, we don't have any sponsors.
But if you want to sponsor us, we'll watch whatever the hell you want.
And you can email us at
DragoonsLairPodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's DragoonsLairPodcast@gmail.com. 2 really quick plugs. Thank you. So, yeah. So, Mike, you got anything coming up that you want to plug?
Not really, just the contest that I'm in, which you can find the link to vote on my Facebook page, which is Michael Schiavo on Facebook. You can also follow me on Facebook at Hamster Pellet Productions. You can follow me on Instagram at motherfucker, I can't talk. Thank you. The Jews Lair Podcast. Yes, Jews. Yeah, boy.
Happy Rosh Hashanah.
Happy Rosh Hashanah with the Jews Lair Podcast. Oh, boy.
Shavatova.
Shavatova. At Hamster Pellet Productions on Instagram and the Dragoons Lair Podcast on Instagram. Not the Jews Lair, Dragoons Lair. As I alienate a whole...
Yeah, please don't do that. But
They'll be throwing frisbees, not yarmulkes at you.
although at the time of recording this, like, Happy Jewish New Year. You know, we try to pay as much respects as we can.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Chaim.
Yeah, Jimmy, anything you want to promote? Give the socials.
I'm going to give Snapchat James SI0925, Instagram and Threads James H_the4th, Facebook James Haynes the 4th. You can reach me there. TikTok James 0925. Also special shout out on TikTok to Joking with Jamela. She's been watching. She's been giving a little bit of critique for us. You get a chance. 50. You want to see a movie? She'll give you a review in 50 seconds or less. So I told her I'd give her a shout out. So,
Yeah.
And don't forget, folks, find us for our Dragoons Lair stickers. Okay? We have them. This way we can push the show.
Yeah, if you find the sticker, it's probably because we put it someplace. And if you spot it, please take a picture, tag us on Instagram, so that this way we know that you found those stickers.
Or you can email us at...
Really?
Yes!
DragoonsLairPodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's DragoonsLairPodcast@gmail.com.
And if you do find a sticker, let us know where you found it so we know which one of us can take credit for informing you about
Did you
the show.
give any to Pauline yet?
I haven't seen her.
Okay.
Not yet. Don't
Wait,
worry.
the whole roll is still sitting there.
No, we're gonna have more stickers printed up down a little later, but you know we've got conventions coming up. So if you catch Mike at Comic-Con, he should hopefully have some of the stickers with him. So if
I'll
you,
probably need more.
well, I had a roll of 50, so
Yeah,
it's
as we get closer, give me a little bit more.
yeah.
I think we're going to record the day before I go.
yeah. So there you go. So, and Jimmy, you know, I don't know if you got any conventions that you're going to be hitting. I will be at Exotica.
You should give them out there and see if they use them as pasties.
You think
Yes.
I'm not going to?
No, I'm just putting it out there.
I don't think they're big enough to be pasties.
Well, just, cover up the important part, and just say hi. We would get cold and boom, chicken's done.
And you can catch me, Daniel the Dragon, at Blue Dragoon 13 on TikTok, Instagram, Threads. You can find the Discord page because that link is in the Twitch channel. So you can find me on Twitch. You can also go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Blue Dragoon 13, which will have the episodes of the podcast up and running there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can go and check us out. Listen to the show on all your favorite podcasting platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts, and any other podcasting platform that you so choose to listen to us on. We appreciate you guys. Leave us a review. Let people know about the show. Make sure you share. I've got a bunch of shorts on YouTube Shorts, Reels, and on TikTok. So hopefully you guys are enjoying those and you like those. And with the cracking of Mike's knuckles, I'm going to take us out of this with, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Later, dudes.